All right. Hello, everybody. I'm looking at the audio. It's looking good on my end. Hope everybody's doing great. Man, what a wild last 24 hours. Hope everybody is safe and well. And just congratulations. First of all, I'm going to start off. Congratulations to the U.S. military, all those involved in the operation, the fighter pilots involved, probably special operators that we'll learn about a little bit later, bomber pilots, aerial refueling pilots, maintainers, everybody getting all those airframes up and airborne. Man, just hats off. Looks like an incredibly successful operation at this point, and I am just so proud of all those. And again, it's continuous operations right now. So continuous operations, we got to make sure that the vigilance stays strong. Lots of updates coming to you guys, and that's obviously what we'll be focusing on this one. And I'll focus on questions coming in from members. It highlights you guys so I can see the member comments first. But I'm so grateful to have everybody here. Thanks so much, everybody who's tuned into the YouTube videos today. I hope they've been helpful to everyone to kind of understand the broader context of what we're looking at. Complete destruction at this point is on the table with off-ramps. So that's kind of what I'm seeing as well, off-ramps. Ayatollah is confirmed dead by U.S. intel and Israeli intelligence. Again, looks like they're probably going to still gather some evidence to help the world understand that he is actually gone, because the Iranian propaganda machine is in full swing still. So someone's still behind the keyboard running the operation for the propaganda machine, because they have said that the Ayatollah is alive and well. That's what they're claiming. So I'm going to go ahead and trust Mossad on this one. So again, we'll be doing a full review. I want to say hi to everybody here first. Dave Warlock, Desmond Garcia, thank you for that super thanks. That's very kind of you. Really appreciate that. Dave's in the house. Seth Goldberg, Mahid, Sam, Josh, Tony, Gonzal, Human, everybody's here. The team is here. Great to see everybody here. We've got about 3,000 people in the live right now. And I just encourage everybody to just say how you feel. Say how you feel in the chat. I'm just really proud of the U.S. military, and I hope you are as well, seeing all these strikes being very effective. I'm going to cover some quick breaking news that I'm finding right now, but I want to show you guys something first. This was sent to me today by my dad, actually, former fighter pilot, F-16 fighter pilot, and just solid pilot. But he sent me this today, and I wanted to show you guys this. This is a map of the United States, and this is a map of Iran in the middle of it to show you all the size of the country. Okay, so as these strikes are taking place, let's see, it's kind of going in and out. Can you guys see that okay? This is the size of Iran. So it's not a small country. It's about twice the size of Texas, okay? So what that means is a lot of containment has to happen here, because the surface-to-air missile sites are going to turn on, and all along that big of an area, it's very dangerous for fighter pilots. It's very dangerous for any type of aircraft that are up above executing strikes right now. So you got to be very vigilant on a space that is that big. So that is something that I want to highlight to you all, that will be on the minds of all the fighter pilots and all the bomber pilots and aerial refueling pilots right now, is surface-to-air missiles could turn on at any point in that entire country. Again, twice the size of Texas. So we got Rigged, we got Shovel, Mystic, Risen, Seth Goldberg. Really appreciate you, Seth. You're a member. Go ahead and ask a question. Everybody here, grateful to have everybody here. Thank you for the super thanks as well. That's so kind. Praying that this goes well. People are already celebrating being free. That's one of the comments I'm seeing here. That's amazing. I pray it goes well also, and it's gone well so far. Everything I've seen has been a flawless execution of the tactics of aerial denial. So going in, striking down the IADs, the integrated air defense systems, and then aerial denial. So once you get it and you hold it, now you got to wait and see if anything else turns on, because here's probably what's happening. So likely what's happening are there detached units of the IRGC still that are alive, that are trying to survive, and they've been given the orders. You know, they're all brainwashed. Let's just throw that out there, right? The IRGC literally radicalized, brainwashed probably good military members if they actually had good leadership and they actually had the ability to think for themselves, right? But they're all brainwashed, and now they're popping out likely of mountainous terrain where they've dug in artillery pieces, mainly ballistic missile pieces are going to be their bread and butter right now, where they'll pop out a ballistic missile launcher and launch that towards Tel Aviv. That's their goal right now. And so U.S. Air Force, Israeli Air Force up above in F-35s, just waiting, just kind of up there like, okay, waiting for something to turn on, but you have to be vigilant as well, because those things that are turning on could be trying to strike you also as a fighter pilot up there. But that's likely the go-to right now of the regime, is get these ballistic missiles continuously firing. Command and control is gone, guys. I'm just going to throw that out there, okay? Incredibly effective operation, U.S. Armed Forces striking down the surface-to-air missile systems and the control nodes and the IRGC leadership. And when you strike down the leadership like that, awesome. I got a thumbs up from my producer over there that the audio and video looks good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So when it comes to the leadership right now, they're detached. Okay, but that's not always a good thing. It's good in a sense, right? Because of the effective operation, shock and awe just going down on Iran right now. But you have these detached members who now just have orders, hey, move that ballistic missile launcher out of the side of the mountain and launch it. Hit go, because they have pre-planned coordinates in those missiles right now that they're not aiming them. They probably have the accuracy of a mile, would be my guess. And it looks to me, some of the reports coming in, I'll leave it, you guys can give me updates as well here in the chat, but it looks like only 2 missiles have gotten through to Tel Aviv and hit Tel Aviv. Let me know if there's something different there. But again, good to see everybody here in the chat. Yodis, Bravo 9, Captain Shriver, one of the moderators, thank you for moderating, really appreciate that. Thanks so much. And members, especially, throw your questions in there, and I'll focus on the member questions first. Wow, we got a super thanks coming in. Let's see who did that one. American Screeching Eagle, $50 super thanks. That's so kind, man. That's seriously so kind. I really appreciate that. Not expected, but appreciated. I'll just say that. Glad to have Captain Shriver here as the moderator. Thanks for keeping everything on track. I do like to ramble and sometimes get off track. So Captain Shriver, when I see you up there moderating, doing your thing, it's really helpful to me as well. I want to cover a few of the breaking stories that are coming in right now. So this is interesting, guys, and I think it's great. Right now in Seattle, hundreds of cars have stopped on highways and are rallying in support of Iran. All across the country, Boston, Seattle, Dallas, these places are just united under the goal of freedom for the Iranian people. There's so many talented Iranian people that have been under the thumb of an evil dictator, and now the call has been answered. And we saw the protests, around the world protesting against the Iranian regime, basically saying, we're done. Basically telling the Iranian regime, you have no place in the world anymore. And millions of people standing up and saying that. And now what we're seeing is something that's really cool. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge that. American citizens of the world that love freedom all around the globe, everybody right now is the time to continuously stand up and support the Iranian people. Because their incredible amount of courageousness showed the world that they were ready for this. Right. So they showed the world, hey, if the world comes in, the U.S. military comes in, Israel comes in, Europe steps in, if they come in, that they are ready to take back their country. So now is the moment. Now is the moment for the Iranian people. And President Trump is giving off-ramps to the IRGC, which I know there's a lot of controversy, right? I've seen a lot of your guys' comments. Don't give any of them leniency. Don't give any of them off-ramps. I get it. Okay. I get the frustration, but here I want you to hear me out. Here's why I think it's a good thing, okay? Because at some point, the Iranian nation is going to need to stand on its own 2 feet with its own military, with likely brand new constitution, brand new leadership coming in, ideally, God willing. We got Mr. Shroom Kid coming in with that super thanks. UAE seems weak with them being targeted and only taking defensive postures. Change my mind. I like that. That's a good question. I will get to that here in a second, but I want to finish this thought. Giving off-ramps to IRGC commanders, I think it depends, right? President Trump has said they will be treated fairly. And I think the big goal right now is to see who actually has the heart and soul to align behind the Iranian people. Because likely Mossad, CIA, other assets have known who will and who won't. Because you got to think a lot of these generals have gone away already, right? The hardened ones, the top ones within the inner circle. I've seen reports now that it looks like about 10 to 20 top Ayatollah bosses. I mean, it's literally the mafia. These made men underneath the Ayatollah have gone away. They've gone bye-bye. So it looks like the Ayatollah's son has also gone bye-bye. So the Ayatollah's son's gone, Ayatollah's gone, top 20 members gone. So is there someone who's been developed as a source by Mossad and by the CIA, a trusted source who can now come in and help transition Iran to a free and democratic country again? So I get it. You guys' frustration. I get it. I want to hear you out. You know, some of that is valid frustration. These people that may have been responsible for killing thousands of their own countrymen, why are they being given off-ramps? So I hope that gives you some context, because again, the ultimate goal here, and Vice President Vance said this yesterday, is to avoid an elongated boots on the ground style war, that the U.S. has to have elongated boots on the ground. Now, boots on the ground training, specifically like Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, training the Iranian military that will then stand up and take over, I think is a good thing. But elongated boots on the ground, guys, I saw it in Afghanistan. I was in Afghanistan, 70 combat missions over there, and I was just completely upset by the way that we had built forward operating bases at the bottom of valleys that were targets for insurgents. So that kind of thing has to be avoided at all costs. So off-ramps to these IRGC commanders will likely help us do that and do it fast. The faster, the better. And if some of them won't play ball, which likely a lot of them won't, then we're going to see them go away. And it looks like this is a sustained campaign that's likely going to last weeks. I think the bombing will likely continue for 2 weeks. That's my assumption. Right now, the ATO, the Air Tasking Order, which is built in CENTCOM headquarters. So CENTCOM is in charge of this whole thing. The Air Tasking Order is where all the targets are. So that's where all the targets flow into, and then they're divvied out. So the Air Tasking Order, this is just totally, as an example. This is not an official description of what's happening, right? But as an example, there'd be F-15Es on the board, F-16s, F-22s, F-35s, B-2s, B-52s, cruise missiles, naval assets. And then you have your different departments. You've got your Air Force head, you've got your Navy head, Army head, and then the overall commander of CENTCOM will be over in charge of everything. So at that point, you take the ATO, the Air Tasking Order, and you decide the priority of the targets. So what we saw now, we got edgy invest coming in, free Iran. Absolutely, my friend, 100%. Then we got Subpathic saying, thanks to our silent service members, submariners, for Tomahawk first strike capability and continuing support for our battle groups. 100%. We saw those dozens of Tomahawks flying in right off the bat. If you saw any of my videos earlier today, we saw the actual footage of the Tomahawks flying low level going into Iran. Yeah, absolutely. Hats off. And hats off to the silent service members, all of them out there on submarines, destroyers, on the carrier strike group itself, at all the different Air Force bases around the entire region right now that are just packed with maintainers, avionics specialists, engine specialists, pilots, weapon systems operators. I mean, around the board, amazing. So again, giving these off-ramps will likely give the U.S. the ability to have less boots on the ground, which I love. The less boots on the ground, the better, but you got to train whoever takes the place. So if there's some normal Army generals, likely that's who's going to play ball more with Mossad and the CIA, is going to be these Army generals that are seeing all their friends go bye-bye, all the IRGCs going bye-bye. They see that happening, and they're likely going to make some deals if they're smart. I mean, if they have two brain cells, they're going to make some deals. So that's what I would expect to see. And again, focused on the normal Army generals and a lot of trusted sources that I have from Iran, special, I guess, what would you call them? I would say that they're trusted agents of mine that I go to for advice on this Iranian situation. A lot of them are telling me that a lot of the deals will likely be made with the top level Army generals if they're willing to play ball. If they're radicalized as well at this point, if they can't see the writing on the wall, then okay, good luck. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has posted on Instagram and on X saying that the Department of War is executing these strikes and will continue until it's no longer needed. So again, this isn't an easy off-ramp. So I just want to put everybody's mind at ease who's out there complaining about the deals being made. You're legit. Like you are seen and you are heard that you can't make deals with the mafia and you can't make deals with terrorists. But if some of these people have been under the gun with a revolver to their head from the Ayatollah, maybe you do bring them in and they help the transition. Here we go. American Screaming Eagle. I bet with this strike, then maybe World War III around the corner. Well, I will caution you on that. I don't think World War III, and here's why. The world will be better off without Iran. Everybody knows that. The Gulf states know it. Even here's a subtlety. Even China and Russia, I think behind the scenes, they signed off on this. Not that they had to approve it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they approved it. I'm saying that there were deals made where China is going to get even more oil now. So China will likely get double the oil because, again, American companies will roll in, European companies will roll in and help the situation of those oil companies. They were just a personal slot machine of the Ayatollah and Pezeshkian, the president of Iran. Let's just call a spade, okay? People want to complain about US oil companies rolling in. Well, how about oil companies being the slot machine for a radical cleric? That's what those oil companies were, if we're just being honest. But again, this is uniting the world at this point. We're seeing around the globe, again, pretty much every major city in the US is celebrating this. Everybody is on team free Iran. Free the Iranian people, allow them to rise up and take control of their government. If you're watching from Iran right now, we got your back. Look at what the American military has done. Look what the Trump administration has done. Look at what the Secretary of War just posted. The wind is at your backs. You are in a position to take your country back and to free Iran. This is just a historic moment for the globe. So again, oil prices spiked. We talked about that for weeks, guys. Okay, we talked about oil prices spiking and just that's what's going to happen. However, what I want us to pay attention to is watch over the next couple of weeks as this bombing campaign starts to ramp down, as off-ramps are taken by high-level members of Iranian leadership, we'll see those prices settle out. And then once China kind of realizes they're going to be the ones to help keep the Straits of Hormuz open with the U.S., mainly it's China. I mean, China has such an influence there is what we're seeing come out of the woodwork. Russia has some. But again, we saw China bring in multiple surface-to-air radars. So even China knows at this point, oh, yeah, our surface-to-air radars, they don't work quite as good as we thought. Hey, US, we'll help you. We'll help you. That whole Taiwan thing, we're good on that. You know, we want to focus on keeping the Straits of Hormuz open. So again, another huge advertisement for the F-35 and not a good day for Chinese tech and Russian tech. Okay, let me dive back into the comments for a second. DJ Jackson, D-Stew's a member. Appeasement for 50 years has not worked. Course correction needed to happen. Yeah, absolutely, D-Stew. Well said. Thank you for being a member. That's super helpful. Helps me do videos like this every day. And then we had another super thanks just come in from Sean Shaw. Human beings are members of a whole in creation of one essence. Yeah, one soul. Members inflicted with pain, other members uneasy. Yeah, so I think what you're getting at, human pain is not good. I agree. You know, but at the end of the day, we saw the regime execute 30,000 of their own people. You know, our grandkids shouldn't have to deal with this Ayatollah. Now they won't have to, which I'm just grateful for. You know, those of you that have kids out there, I have a son. I plan on having more kids. I don't want them to have to deal with this Ayatollah, okay? So now we're at the point where, yeah, it takes human suffering and pain to take down an evil dictator like this, but now we're at a point where we can rebuild and give the free people of Iran the chance to stand up on their own 2 feet and not be murdered in the streets. We saw the IRGC actually run over crowds of protesters. I haven't shown this video on my channel because it's just not appropriate to show on like a YouTube live stream or something like that. But they basically ran over their own people with SWAT vans through massive crowds of protesters, SWAT vans with cattle guards. They ran straight through them. And that's the direction of the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah was literally willing to kill hundreds of thousands of his own people to stay in power. I believe Iran has 92 million people. So 92 million people, the Ayatollah is probably willing to kill 91.8 million. There's probably 200,000 of his inner crew that he wouldn't be willing to kill. But that's the level of human suffering that the Ayatollah was enacting on his people. And I think that's why the world stood up. President Trump and the administration saw the world standing up as well. So it's on everybody here, like everybody in this chat. We've got 11,500 people here in this chat. So the fact that you all are so passionate about this and you're so passionate about freedom and the Iranian people not being slaughtered, things like this matter and they help. And so I just love the fact that the US at this point, watching the different cities, watching Boston, watching Seattle, watching Austin, watching these different cities around the US, Phoenix, basically these pro-Iranian free people, anti-regime, anti-Islamic Republic regime protests is just incredible to see. So again, yeah, thank you to the United States military members for doing this. Jovan Lopez, thank you. Space Ace, thank you. Kenneth, appreciate you being here. Thanks to everybody who's here. We're going to keep going though. We've got some more time. So if you guys are okay with that, I'll keep talking. We're at 20 minutes. I'm just going to keep going. So everybody here, it's great to see all the support of the Iranian people and the support of the U.S. military. I mean, the support of the U.S. military is massive. Like I've said before, you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again, U.S. military, greatest force for good on the planet. I mean, who else can do this, right? Who else has the ability to root out this evil dictator who killed 30,000 of their own people? And Hitler took him out as well. But this is more poignant right now. So some retaliation. So let's talk about some of the effects. So there's been one reported death in the UAE. And some people have mentioned, they're seeing the UAE basically a defensive posture. Well, at some point, the UAE, and they focus on the U.S. being there. They support the U.S. Their defense forces can't hold a flame to the United States. They do have fighter jets. So they do have the ability to launch fighter jets and get fighter jets airborne. They do joint exercises with the U.S. So does Jordan. So there is a defense force there. And if I was a betting man, I would say pretty much all of those fighters in the Gulf states were airborne to at least protect their own sovereignty and their own territory, which is great. Greetings from Queensland, Australia. Welcome, Australia. We got people in here from Australia. We've got people from the UK. I think I saw someone earlier from Ireland who was in the chat. All over the US, we've got Israelis in the chat. I mean, it's just great seeing everybody here, lovers of freedom. And then we got The Beef, who's a member. Let's see, heard that some F-35 shot down a pair of MiG-29s. Definitely possible. I'll be looking into that, and I will do a full video on that if that's the case. Those F-35 pilots likely were like, please take off. Please. We don't ask for much. We just ask for the MiG-29s to take off. That's probably, if that's the case, those things got shot down probably as soon as they got gear in the well, MiG-29s, gear in the well, AMRAAMs right to the face. So it's not going to be a good day for those MiG-29s, but I'll definitely keep looking into that. Let me know if you guys are finding out any other information on those MiG-29s. Thoughts on Iran striking Dubai and UAE. I think it just shows how evil of a regime they are. They don't care about their neighbors. They don't care about anybody in that region besides themselves. They only care about the regime's survival. And now the regime's gone. So now we're going to see these factions kind of fight it out till the very end. I mean, you guys remember in World War II in Japan, there was a few Japanese military members on outskirt islands, and they were told that people would come and try to tell them that the war was over for them to lay down their arms and they should just keep fighting. So literally people for decades thought the war was still going on and no one could convince them that the war was over. So you're going to run into some hardliners like that in Iran. They're going to likely keep this going for years and years. See, Captain Shriver is here doing the moderation. Really appreciate that. Keeping everything on track. Thanks, Captain Shriver. Really appreciate that. B-2 bombers. Let's see. That's coming in from American Screaming Eagle. B-2, B-1s. Number one favorite jet is the F-15 Eagle. Well, I appreciate that. F-15E Strike Eagle is my baby. I love that thing. F-15EX, great as well. Rivet joint. Likely rivet joint was used. I mean, rivet joint's always going to be used. Electronic attack, that's just huge. Civilian infrastructure is reported to be damaged throughout the area. Kuwait, UAE, high-rises, urban areas have been affected so far. Shahed drones smashing into apartment complexes. So again, the IRGC, they're going to launch as many of those drones as they can. They're going to try to cause chaos. The thing I really like, though, about the shock and awe campaign we're seeing so far is a lot of their proxies haven't been able to execute the attacks around the globe that we thought they would, because, again, they're cut off from their command and control. So that's really good to see. Proxies completely shut off from the command and control. So what that means is vigilance has to stay high, because again, they are going to potentially unleash their terror squads around the world, but they maybe have doubled down on their Shahid drones. So we might see more drones flying out of austere locations, hidden locations in Iran. So it's definitely a potential there as well. So the duration and the intent, let's move to some broader context where we go from here. US officials have emphasized multi-day campaigns. So Israel and the US are saying this won't be over in a day. And the goal isn't for it to be done in a day, because Iran, twice the size of Texas, and the ability of Iran to continuously launch these Shahid drones, hit civilian areas, trying to launch ballistic missiles at Tel Aviv. I think there's been, I want to say 1,000 missiles launched from Iran. Maybe not quite that. You guys can give me the exact number in the chat. But hats off to the Iron Dome. And again, F-22s in Israel. So F-22s in Israel, just my opinion. Again, this isn't confirmed. It's confirmed that they're in Israel, but this isn't confirmed about what they can do. But I think their ability to talk to each other, to talk to F-35s with their radar, to pump information to the Aegis combat system, and for all these different systems to talk to each other and strike down these ballistic missiles is just huge. So I think that's really great. We're going to probably continue to see Raptor missions for the next couple weeks as they make sure that nothing is left of the IRGC. Annika, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for being a member. Love seeing members in the chat. We got people from all over the globe: Thailand, Korea, Philippines. Awesome. Great to see everybody here. Someone said, is North Korea next? Well, the deal with North Korea is they're kind of kept in check by China. They're China's little brother, and China's like, yeah, just go cause some chaos over there and rattle your saber a little bit. Keep the U.S. busy. That's kind of the focus, and China's there to keep North Korea in line. Iran didn't have that. Iran didn't have, someone to be like, hey, no, get back in line. So that's why, again, Iran was an anomaly in this situation, because no one's there to keep them in line, basically. Was Maverick up there in an F-14 Tomcat? Man, I hope so. I hope that they at least snuck in a fighter pilot. I would have done it. They would have asked me, sneak in a fighter pilot, steal a couple of these F-14s before they go bye-bye, because a lot of them are going to be done after this. Regional posture right now. Gulf allies are on high alert. Again, it's a war zone over there right now. Looks like no types of ground insertions. Like Iran's not going to, people have been asking, is there going to be a ground invasion of Saudi Arabia or UAE or these different nations? Again, right now the regime is going to get very insular. They're going to try to think skinny, because they think they still have a shot. Because again, they've probably been told, they've been radicalized and told that if they just stick it out, that they'll be okay. And again, the propaganda machine out of Iran right now, let's see, I have actually exactly what they said up here somewhere. Okay, so here it is. So President Trump announced the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei in strikes on the Tehran compound. That was confirmed by multiple U.S. and Israeli intelligence sources and media outlets. But here's the kicker. Iranian state media denies that he is dead and claims he is safe and steadfast. So we could see either pre-made videos that he made before or body doubles. We've talked a lot about this. He probably has 10 or so body doubles to step in, and he's probably using those body doubles. He's used them before. And so I wouldn't be surprised, but a lot of the videos that he made before will likely be doctored with AI, and they'll probably be releasing some videos of him. I wouldn't doubt it here soon, which I'll react to. We'll break those down for sure. But it also looks like eliminations of IRGC commanders Mohammed Bagheri, Defense Minister Amir Nasser-Zadeh, and other senior officials. It looks like around 40 plus of the radical clerics in the inner circle have been claimed by Israeli sources. The damage assessment that I'm seeing rolling in right now, significant degradation to missile production, the whole nuclear arsenal looks like it's been targeted again, which is great. Because what we saw, and again, Iran, what we saw was them basically putting concrete, steel, and earth over top of their nuclear structures. And they're like, no, we're not doing anything down there. No, that's just a wine cellar. That's the Ayatollah's wine cellar. Don't worry about that. He just loves the aged red wines. Just crazy. So currently, though, this is something that's huge, and we got to keep keep focused on this. It looks like no U.S. casualties or combat injuries yet. And it looks like successfully centered on 100 or hundreds of incoming Iranian projectiles have been launched at bases in the region, have been launched at Israel as well. So right now, the IRGC claims that they've struck 14 plus U.S. positions, and they're claiming, they're vowing a crushing and sustained response until a decisive defeat of the U.S. and Israel. So that just shows you what we're dealing with the IRGC and the hubris of the IRGC. They're saying they're going to keep going until they crush the U.S. and Israel. Well, good luck. I think the B-52 and the B-2 have a little something to say about that. So just wild at this point. So here's some of the primary targets that have been targeted: Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC command and control facilities right off the bat. You got to take that out. And what that means, guys, is taking out the command and control, the C2, so that all these different systems can't talk to each other. That's huge. Got to make sure that they can't talk to each other. You got to make sure that it's basically a detached operating environment where, like we talked about a little bit ago, they can pop their ballistic missiles out from some sort of mountain hideaway, which they're said to have hundreds of these, kind of like North Korea does. Pop out the ballistic missile, launch it, and then you go back in. But again, those ballistic missiles, now they're not being fed real-time data. They likely have no connection to higher headquarters or command. They're just loaded with pre-planned coordinates to strike Tel Aviv or to strike a base in the region, a U.S. base primarily in the region. And what we're seeing them do is attack civilian infrastructure in the Gulf, because they're basically like, anybody who's an ally of the U.S., they see that as a target. But we're seeing limited effectiveness of all of that. So I'm very interested to see what the propaganda machine continues to put out. But that propaganda machine is going to go away very soon too. That's another thing. We saw that, I believe Iran had an ambassador. They had someone, a representative at the UN, standing up and saying this is war crimes, etc. Well, okay. What was killing 30,000 of your own people? You know, he's probably not going to answer that one. And if I was him, I wouldn't be booking a one-way ticket to Iran right now. He's probably going to wind up in Moscow or something like that. Right now, the nature of the campaign, and that we'll see continue likely, is described as the largest and most precise concentration of U.S. regional firepower in decades. It involves carrier-based aircraft, strategic bombers, cruise missiles from naval assets. Again, hats off to all the naval assets, all the submariners in the area, all the Air Force members, all the members of the Army that are there doing work with Patriot missile systems, joint Israeli strikes. So hats off to the Israeli military as well. Multi-wave aerial and missile operations targeting Iranian military infrastructure is the name of the game right now. I would expect to see that continue. Let me pop into the comment section here. Let's see. We just had a member chime in. It's moving really quick, guys. If I miss what you're saying, I apologize. Right now, we've got 13,000 people here, and sometimes it's hard to catch everybody. Let's see. Captain Shriver is in here doing work. Hats off to the moderator. Thank you so much. Great to see everybody. Let's see. Mordi Mizrahi says, you're awesome. You're awesome as well, my friend. Hats off to the Iran or to the U.S. military. And again, what we'll likely see is some sort of an evolution here as we start to see the sustained campaign of bombing. I would expect here's what I would expect. Weeks-long sustained campaign of bombing, and then an unconditional surrender. You got to get the unconditional surrender. That has to be, you cannot let any type of deal be struck with any high-level members of the Ayatollah's regime. And President Trump's smart. The leadership right now with General Raisin Kane, President Trump, this isn't even political, okay? Again, this is not political. This is just me saying from what I've seen, the leadership is on point and it's dialed in. They're not going to make a bad deal with the leadership at this point, the remnants of what's left. If there's even any leadership left in a week, I think at that point, then you can start to make deals with people, make the off-ramp happen. But I don't see any deals happening for the next few days. So again, good to see everybody here. Dapper, Alan, Farm. If you guys become members of the channel, it helps the channel grow, and I'll answer your questions in the live. If I see the channel membership pop up there, and that helps the channel grow, and I would just greatly appreciate it. There's a link in the description for that. Let me just say hi to a few more of you here. Hector, Mazzani, Joven, Manrun, Chaseley, Travis, Apollo. Awesome having everybody here. Let me see if there's anything else to cover. We'll probably Cover a few more things here. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps primary targets, we'll likely see that for the next few days. Air defense systems, missiles, and drone production launch sites taken down, military airfields, and even some of the naval assets. Some of the naval assets in the actual Persian Gulf will probably see that taken down as well. And then here's where I would likely expect to see strikes still. Key locations across Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Karaj, Kermanshah, and just the Persian Gulf port area itself. That's likely going to be a very important part of all of this. So right now, U.S. officials indicate that nearly 900 strikes took place in the first 12 hours alone. Operations are described as ongoing and planned for multiple days or weeks to degrade capabilities and pressure regime capitulation. Complete capitulation is the only way to go at this point, and it's great to see the Trump administration, all the different leadership out there that's focused on that. It's awesome. But here's another awesome part. Seeing the U.S. unite. Again, not even political, seeing the U.S. unite around taking down a radical Islamic cleric that wants to destroy anybody who wants freedom. Anybody who wants freedom, he wants to destroy them and kill them. So now the Persian people can rise up and be free again. So if you're watching this from Iran, the Persian people, hats off to you. Wish you all the best. Please take back your country. Please use this as the opportunity that will never come again. This is an opportunity that will never come again. This is an opportunity to take back Iran and move it to be a U.S. ally. I mean, imagine the United States, Iran teamed up, allied. That's an amazing combination of brain power right there. At the end of the day, the Iranian people are incredibly talented. They deserve freedom. They deserve to be out of the thumb of not the Ayatollah anymore. The Ayatollah is gone, but out of the thumb of the IRGC. The radicals and a lot of those people that killed their own people are going to have to answer to that as well. But again, off-ramps exist right now. So if they lay down their weapons, it looks like they can actually save their own lives. So we'll see how this plays out over the next few days. I will keep a video coming to you. I'll do a video tomorrow morning. I'll give you the latest and breaking news, and then I might be doing a live here most nights just to keep everything, keep you guys all informed of exactly what's going on. If you guys would, follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, join the channel, become a member. That helps the channel exponentially. And then I'll be on Newsmax tonight. I'll be doing a spot on Newsmax at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time, 12:30 a.m., March 1st on Newsmax. If you want to see me do a spot there, I'll be on a panel discussion. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Captain Shriver, thank you for being the moderator. Thanks to everybody here in the chat. We had thousands of people. Super grateful for you all. I'll see you on the next video. This is Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, signing off.